The Denver Nuggets, they're giving 2014 San Antonio Spurs vibes in a game where they dominated with their best player shooting the ball just 8 times. They were able to get a double-digit win in Miami for their 8th straight regular season win versus the Miami Heat and their 4th straight win in their last 4 games this season. They're now 10-1 since the All-Star break, and it's time to have some different conversations about the Denver Nuggets team and just how good they might be. Let's get it. It's Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nugget. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. Thank y'all so much for being here with us. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Let's talk some basketball. Y'all, the Denver Nuggets, man, they are in an absolute roll right now. They're on a roll. They're extremely confident. They're playing so well. They're playing so differently. And yesterday, if you watch the Denver Nuggets play, they're on to something special. They are on to something special. First off, I want to shout out the chat. Shout out everybody that's in the chat. Shout out everybody dropping off the comments. We love y'all. Hope y'all having a great day today. I hope y'all are living. Hope things are going well for you. I am very, very excited to be here with you all. If you're snowed in Colorado right now, I hope you're feeling okay. Hope you got what you need. Hope everything is going well. Y'all, my people, let your community know if you need help. Snow is nothing to joke with, y'all. But the Denver Nuggets, man, they beat the Miami Heat 100-88. They beat the Miami Heat 100-88. And y'all, I'm going to tell y'all this. This game was interesting because the game wasn't close to start. The Nuggets were rolling. They were hitting their shots. They were looking indomitable. They were all over the place. The first quarter, y'all, Denver Nuggets won 26-19. 26-19, and they were absolutely dominant. Hey, y'all, by the way, if you snowed in, this is the place to be. Tony, this is where you need to be. If you snowed in and you in Colorado, this is the place to be. This is the place to be. Make sure y'all tap in. Come spend some time with us. Warm up by the fire. That is the Denver Nuggets, y'all. The Denver Nuggets get a 100-88 win versus the Miami Heat, y'all. And I really felt like yesterday was the time of time. We're going to talk about it more in segment 2. But, man, I think the Nuggets, man, they're different. They're playing different. They're moving different. And I think that we're just in a place where I think there are some interesting things that need to be discussed when talking about the Denver Nuggets, y'all. Talking about the Denver Nuggets, man, something different needs to be talked about. Like, yo, the Nuggets won 188 yesterday. Y'all, the Nuggets shot 33% from 3, 11 of 33. They held the Miami Heat to their tied for their lowest total of three-point attempts last night, I believe, with 21 three-pointers, and they only made 5 of them. The Denver Nuggets got to the line over 13 times. They shot 49% from the field yesterday. The Nuggets have started to percolate in a way that is giving real scary dynastic vibes. And one of the things that's happening is like what the feeling is, and I'm watching the game, they're just in such a control point right now that when they get into a clutch situation, when they get into a situation where they're feeling like their back is against the wall a little bit or there's some adversity hitting, no one on the team folds. No one folds. No one tightens up. They lock into what they're supposed to be doing. They do their job, and they are like, look, whatever we got to do, we're going to get it done. Yesterday, y'all, Nikola Jokic had 12 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. 12 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. He was 5 of 8 from the field. He missed 2 shots in the first quarter. I believe he missed 1 shot the rest of the game and went 5 of 6 after missing the first 2 shots. He was 2 of 3 from the free throw line. He did have 4 turnovers yesterday. He was overpassing a little bit. And now he was a plus 10 yesterday. And if you watch the game, Joker was in really like kind of just a settled mode, meaning that he wasn't in a place where it's like, I need to take over. He wasn't in a place that I would even say Jokic was being passive yesterday. What happened is Bam Adebayo, who I think might be the best defender in basketball. He's that good. He does amazing things for that team. He makes all their defensive schemes work, zone, man, drop, ice, hedge, whatever. But Bam Adebayo was fronting him so toughly that Jokic was like, cool, if I don't get the ball in the post area, I'm going to rework the positioning. And then if he would get fronted, he would then switch his body position. He would get fronted where it's basically be him, Bam, and the ball, and then the rim. And because of that, they would have to throw the backside defender, who's the weak side corner man. He would come and step in just to be prepared in case Joker got the ball. And the Denver Nuggets were like, cool, well, we're going to work those rotations. We're going to get them out of leverage. And then we're going to use Jokic in a pick and roll. And then once we do that, we're going to have an open mid-range shot or open three-pointers. And they hit them. They hit him. Y'all, the best player on the court last night was Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. had 25 points, 7 rebounds. He had just 1 turnover yesterday. He was 9 of 16. 9 of 16 from the field. He was 5 of 9 from 3, meaning he was 4 of 7 from 2. He was 2 of 2 from the free throw line. And Michael Porter Jr. yesterday had a 74% true shooting. He had a 74% true shooting. He was excellent yesterday. Michael Porter Jr. did his job. He was a plus 10 in the 34 minutes that he played yesterday. And what I love, we're going to talk about all this in segment 2, y'all, because I got to run. I want to go on. I got to run. If you saw me last night on the Swiper channel, you heard some of it. But I got some new stuff to add into that today. I'm going to go on a run a little bit later. So tap in after we get done talking about the game, y'all. I'm telling y'all, the way that Porter has bought into his role and the way that the team has bought in to what everybody's supposed to be doing, everybody gets the credit for a win. And everybody shares the responsibility of a loss. Let that hit you again. Everybody gets the credit for the win, including down to the person who played the least in the game. And everybody bears the responsibility for a loss. It's never just one player when you win or you lose. It's never just one play when you win or when you lose. We win the right way together and we lose the right way together. And yesterday was such a testimony to the culture that has been built. And I love the fact that it came down to Michael Porter Jr. And y'all, to close the game out, instead of having the best starting 5 in the NBA on the court together, instead of closing with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, when Jamal Murray was a part of that 2018-19 season when Jokic hit that floater to Bam Adebayo to seal the game. Instead of going into those actions, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, they put in Reggie Jackson and Christian Braun in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly how they took down the Miami Heat yesterday. To start the fourth quarter, Christian Braun made a 3. Aaron Gordon hit a 2. Christian Braun hit a 2. Christian Braun hit a 2. Peyton Watson got a block. And then Justin Holiday got a 2. Peyton Watson got a dunk. And then Jokic came in at 85-81. And Michael Porter Jr. made a mid-range shot that was contested. And then Reggie Jackson, back-to-back-to-back buckets. Back-to-back-to-back buckets for Reggie Jackson. Just an amazing performance from him, given the fact that he has struggled as a shooter. He has struggled to stay connected. He's been dealing with some nicks and bruises. Reggie Jackson was able to step into the fold yesterday and to help close the game out for the Denver Nuggets. And you did it without having to get Jamal Murray back in the game to score. You did it without having to make Jokic to score. Jokic and Murray combined for 2 points in the fourth quarter versus the team they just played in the NBA Finals last year in Miami. And Reggie Jackson, I'm extremely happy for him. I'm extremely proud for him. Michael Malone talked about it at the end of the game. He wants to encourage his guys with positive criticism, and he wants to love on them through their slumps, love on them through when their play is not playing, it's not going as well as they would like it to, or when the team needs it. And Reggie Jackson had a moment yesterday where he hit the three-pointer off of another screen from Jokic. When he got back to the Nuggets bench, everybody clamored and celebrated him and jumped on him and just showed him a love and appreciation as they should. That's why this team is special. Reggie Jackson got his moment. Jamal Murray, when asked if he wanted to come into the game, we'll talk about this too, he gave Reggie Jackson the keys and said, go get your job done. Go take care of it. And y'all, it wasn't like the game was absolutely put away. It was put away, because of Reggie. Reggie helped put that game away. But we're going to talk about all that in the next segment, man, because y'all, again, some really, really, truly special things are happening in Denver, Colorado right now. And those are the things that we need to tap into and talk about, y'all. So, y'all, when we come back in segment 2, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we saw yesterday and really the culture that's been being built in Denver for quite some time now. We'll be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, PrizePicks, it's America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. We are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. Y'all, it's demon time on PrizePicks. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Demons and Goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play PrizePicks. Squares marked with red demons or green goblins get you different payouts. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. So when you tap in, Steph Curry for more than 29 points, Nikola Jokic for more than 10 rebounds, Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made, or even Luka Doncic, who's going on a crazy scoring tear for more than 32 points, and LeBron James for more than 7 assists. These are the kinds of things that you can tap into with PrizePicks. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. We'll be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. Welcome back to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. So thankful that y'all are here with us today. And I want y'all to do something for me. Go ahead and get comfortable. Go ahead and get comfortable. Sit back in your seat. Relax. If you're snowed in, grab you a hot cocoa, get you some marshmallows, get you a nice little drink, get you some ginger beer, get you some tea to warm you up. If you got some snacks in the house, get you some snacks. Or if you need to call a friend, make sure you call a friend and go ahead and put me on the line as well. Y'all, the Nuggets are special, man. You see in the title, the Denver Nuggets are turning into the 2014 Spurs. Let me explain what I mean by that. Y'all remember in 2014, the Spurs were the definition of beautiful basketball. The way that they were able to go into the season, understanding who they were, understanding what time it was, and understanding that they had a responsibility to play the very best version of basketball that they could. And what I love about what they did is that it didn't matter who it was. It could have been Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili. It could have been Tony Parker. It could have been Kawhi Leonard. It could have been Tiago Splitter. It could have been Matt Bonner. It could have been Patty Mills. It didn't matter. It did not matter. They were able to get to a point where they fully bought into an idea, into a system, and into a culture. And that's what separated them from the Miami Heat, which is why they won 4-1. That's why they were suffocating to play against, because they had all the pieces. And once all the pieces were in line, they just had to buy into the identity and who they were. And that's what separated them. And the Denver Nuggets, man, yesterday was the first time that I truly felt it. You know, you speculated because you got the top end talent in Jokic, and you got to have an all-time great player to have a dynasty. You speculate because you got to have a top end talent like Jamal Murray, who is a great shot maker, great creator, really good playmaker. And then on the other end, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, you need the wing talent to get that done, defensively and offensively. You need defenders like KCP and Peyton Watson and Christian Brown. You need to have a backup point guard that you can trust to get you in and out of sets, Reggie Jackson. And you need to have a nice young nucleus that you can build around and to have a core that was drafted and that you were able to develop. That's what you need. And the Nuggets, man, yesterday, they got into a situation, y'all, where Reggie Jackson got 3 straight buckets off of Nikola Jokic screens in the mid-range and then in the three-point line. And then because of that, Jamal Murray and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope got asked, hey, do y'all want to come back in the game and go ahead and close out the Miami Heat? And they said no. Give Reggie Jackson and give Christian Brown their moment. Let them close the game. For me, that spoke volumes. Volumes to where this team is. Volumes to where their mindset has now emerged to. Think about this. And I explained this a little bit before. The Denver Nuggets have already lost. They've already lost. They've already gone through a tremendous amount of adversity as a core. In 2016-17, they're not ready. They're not good enough. 2018, 17, 19, 18. Y'all remember the end of that 2017-18 season. Jokic went crazy the last 13 games of the year. They get to basically a play-in game in game 82 versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wilson Chandler misses all of his shots that game, but Jokic has a chance to win the game in overtime and going into overtime, and he wasn't able to do it, got the ball stolen. And then the very next year, they go into the playoffs. They're the number 2 seed behind the Warriors. They meet the Portland Trail Blazers in the second round, and they lose in game 7, and Jamal Murray makes 4 shots, like 4 of 18 from the field. Nikola Jokic had a triple-double, a 21-point triple-double, I believe, in that game. But they just weren't ready yet. They didn't know what they didn't know. And then the next year, they go into the bubble. They get down 3-1 to the Utah Jazz. They overcome that. Jamal Murray, the 50-42-50. And then they go versus the LA Clippers. And then in that game, they go down 3-1. Game 5 happened. Paul Millsap gets confronted by one of the Morris brothers. Paul Millsap goes on a tear. They come back. They win 3-1. And then they lose to the LA Lakers. And then remember the next year, 2020, 2021, no Jamal Murray. They get swept in the second round by the Suns. Next year, no Jamal Murray, no Porter. There's no KCP and Bruce Brown yet. Jokic and the Nuggets at the time, they get put out in 4-1 by the Warriors. You add all that up. The Denver Nuggets have lost. And then they went into the playoffs last year and dominated 16-4. And what's happened is they did that one way, their way. But now they're in a different kind of era where they're 46-20, they're 10-1 in their last 11 games, and they seem to be of the mindset that if we get you into a box, if you get in the phone booth with us, we know we can take care of business because we're going to out-execute you. We know who we are, and it can come from anywhere. That's the thing I think that separates the Nuggets. It can come from anywhere. It ain't got to be Joker. It ain't got to be Jamal. It ain't got to be Michael Porter. It ain't got to be Aaron Gordon. It ain't got to be KCP. Because it could be Reggie Jackson. It could be Peyton Watson. It could be Christian Brown. It could be DeAndre Jordan, if need be. It could be Colin Gillespie, if need be. That is the thing that I love most about this team. I love that the culture for the Nuggets is it's everybody's responsibility. We all share in the glory in winning a championship, and we all share in the pain and the growth of a loss. And if you are able to put yourself in a situation where you can have Reggie Jackson, who is making $5 million a year, is your maybe 8th or 7th best player on your roster, and Jamal Murray, who's your clear second, making the second most money on the team, can say, let him get it. It's his moment. That, to me, speaks so much to unselfishness, selflessness, and being in a mindset that Reggie Jackson's success is mine, and you don't find that in the NBA. You do not find that in the NBA. We have seen superstar pairings get separated because of ego. We have seen role players depart, including some in Denver before, where they separate because of ego or wanting different things or wanting a different vision. And the fact of the matter is, y'all, Michael Porter Jr. was the #1 recruit in high school. He goes to college, gets hurt, gets drafted at 14, sits out a year, and instead of fading to the background, instead of complaining when Malone wants to turn him into a two-way player, he responds. He grows, and he accepts it, and he moves forward. Jamal Murray has to change his game, elevate his game, become a better passer, better playmaker. He does it. Jokic has to become a more aggressive scorer. He accepts the responsibility of being the best in the world when asked, and he does it. KCP does his job. He needs to defend. He needs to be quick with his dribbles. He needs to get in and out of DHOs. He needs to be an absolute pest on the defensive end. He does it. Aaron Gordon, you were the #1 option with the Orlando Magic. He comes to this team. He buys in. He's the 3rd, 4th, or 2nd, or 5th option on different nights, but he does his job to a T and defends his butt off. Peyton Watson, 5-star recruit, #1 high school recruit out of California for many sites. goes to college, plays no time, plays basically no minutes last year. He gets to this season, second year, and he buys in. No matter how talented he is, he buys in. That makes the Nuggets special. This is not something that happens in the league. And yesterday was the embodiment of that moment. That Reggie Jackson, as much as he's been struggling, the team and Malone look at him and say, go get it. Jokic takes 8 shots yesterday because he didn't want to force the issue in a regular season game, even if it was in Miami against a team they beat in the finals. And he very well could demand the spotlight be on me, but he doesn't do it. Because this team, these players believe in the collective identity of what it means to be a Nugget, what it means to play selfless basketball, what it means to buy into my brother's success. What's your success is my success. And that is how you win championships. That's how you have dynasties. That's how you build something that lasts. That's how you build something that 20 years from now, you can look at and say, we did that together. It wasn't just him or him. We did this together. I am so excited to see what this team does. And I think as somebody who's been watching basketball very closely his entire life, I have only seen teams perform this way and behave this way but a couple of times, which shows you how rare it is. Even the Lakers in the 2000s, they had the Kobe and Shaq beef and split, and they broke up a dynasty. Yeah, all the stuff that was happening with Chicago Bulls. They won. They had 2 3-peats. Like, it takes a lot to have success. And the Nuggets are in the early stages. In the early stages. Jamal's 27. Jokic is 29. Gordon is 28. Porter's 25. They're in the early stages of figuring all that stuff out. And it is beautiful to see. Beautiful to see. Y'all, in segment 3, we're going to talk about some of the other features of this team and Michael Malone getting the flowers for all the stuff that he has done. And I think what he's done to embody this culture and how he has continued to help them reach the next level as a team and to get ready for the moment. But y'all, we'll be right back here, Locked On Nuggets. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from another retirement account with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with the 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claims as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Y'all, we'll be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. What's going on, y'all? Welcome into Locked On Nuggets. So glad that you're here with us today. This is your boy Swiper, one of the co-hosts of Locked On Nuggets. So glad to be here with y'all. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. If you're on the Apple iTunes, the listener side of this, make sure you give us a 5-star review as you download and listen to this episode so that we can continue to get this to the audiences all across the world who want to hear about the great NBA and Denver Nuggets content that we provide. And so thank y'all for y'all community as well, for y'all support, y'all's love. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. You all make this special. You make this worth it. So glad that everybody's here in the chat cooking up. All over 113 people that are live listening to this right now. Y'all are also amazing, y'all. But Michael Malone, man, he deserves a lot of credit. Michael Malone has worked with a lot of different personalities. He was with Cleveland. He was with the Warriors. He was with Sacramento, and he's been in Denver since 2014. Michael Malone has helped this team to understand and buy into the concept that anything that happens to us happens to us all. And yesterday, when he talked about the Nuggets culture, he talked about guys that were unselfish and that were not I and me players, but players that bought into a collective identity and they wanted to win together. And again, he just highlighted the fact that, when he went to go put Murray and KCP back in the game, they wanted to keep Reggie Jackson and Christian Braun in the game. And for me, that's just so significant. It's so important that you have a coach and you have a team that they're able to see through the trees. They're able to see through the trees that even in this moment, if this feels like something we should do, let's just give it a risk. Let's risk it because Reggie Jackson is worth the risk. Christian Braun is worth the risk. And again, this isn't the first time this has happened. I don't know if y'all remember, but the Thunder game, I believe, that they lost. They were playing Peyton Watson, Justin Holiday, and Christian Braun down the stretch of the game. They were. And they were just giving them a chance to grow because just in case we need one of y'all to step up, we want you to be ready. And I think Michael Malone deserves so much credit because he has had to take this team through so many different iterations of itself. Whether it's the Juancho, Hernan Gomez, Yusuf Nurkic, Gary Harris, Torrey Craig days, whether you get to the Jeremy Grant, Paul Millsap days, the Facu Campazzo, Bryn Forbes, Austin Rivers days, the Bruce Brown, KCP days, Jeff Green days, and now Peyton Watson and Christian Braun, and Julian Strawther, he just deserves so much credit for all of the things that he has continued to add to this team and the belief that he has poured into them. It is really such an amazing feat. Y'all, the Denver Nuggets are 46-20 on the year now. They're 25-14 in the Western Conference, and they're 21-6 versus the Eastern Conference, which is insane if you think about it. The Denver Nuggets won 4 straight. They're 19-14 on the road. As somebody mentioned in the chat, that ties the amount of game they won on the road this last season. They're a really good road team so far this year. OKC's 19-13. The Boston Celtics are 22-11 on the road. Your best teams in the NBA. Your best teams in the NBA are dominating on the road. And the fact that the Nuggets have just been able to just rattle off these wins versus playoff teams, these are teams in the playoff picture. Somebody asked me, what was my win-loss prediction? I believe it was 56, if I remember correctly. I believe it was 56. This might have been what it was. I think they would get the first seed. I believe it was 56, but I was wrong about a few things, including OKC and the Wolves. I did not predict they would be this high. I did not think that the Lakers were going to be as bad as they are either. So I missed on some things. But man, the Nuggets are just streaking, man. They're 10-1. They're 10-1. They're dominating in the team stats and the net rating. On the season now, they've continued to move up across the board in all the categories. The clutch now, they've won 23 games in the clutch this year. 23 games in the clutch this year, which again is insanity. And on the season now, the Denver Nuggets, they have just a plus 4.7 net rating, but they're currently 7th in offense. They're 10th in defense, and they're continuing to take care of a lot of business, man. Exactly. They're 10-1 posted the Nikola Jokic text message. That's a fact. So I just think that the team, man, they're not feeling themselves in a way that is disrespectful to the competition or not aware of the moment. But I think they're feeling themselves in the reality that they believe in who they are, and they believe in what they've been tasked to do. And they believe in Michael Malone. They believe in David Adelman. I mean, they just believe. They believe in every single thing that the coaches are asking them to do. And I just think the buy-in from all of their players, from Porter to Gordon to Jokic to Murray to KCP to Peyton to Christian to Reggie to Zeke. Zeke is getting his confidence up. And y'all, it's like the bench unit has just been different as well. Like the Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Justin Holiday, Zeke Naji minutes have been okay. They've been okay. They've been stabilizing. They don't have to win their minutes outright crazy, but if you can stabilize, not give up a lot of points, not bleed points, and you can still provide some shot making, come on now. Like, it's just really impressive, and I'm so thankful to be able to cover this team. But like I said, man, there's just something brewing. There's something brewing. You're 10-1, and they're currently in the first seed. It doesn't mean they're going to guarantee to win the first seed. It doesn't even mean they win. They obviously may not win every other game for the rest of the season. but they're just building really healthy habits, and it's really changing not just perspectives of this year and how good they can be this year, but here on forward. Y'all, that's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. So glad you're here with us. We'll be back tomorrow. Matt and myself will be here tomorrow previewing. It's going to be a really interesting game coming up this weekend, y'all. But y'all know what time it is. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll see y'all on the other side.